Dear students, welcome to the new session for class 12 physics. From today I shall be teaching you the topics of class 12 physics in sequence, starting from the first chapter, electrostatics. In this chapter we will at first discuss about the two topics. One is electric charge and another is Coulomb's law for electrostatics. I hope that it is visible to you now. Now here we shall discuss about what is electrostatic charge, or we can say simply electric charge. How we came to know about electric charge, we shall be discussing it here. Now you see, I need to adjust the camera so that the full screen is there visible to you. Okay, so today we are going to discuss these two topics. What is electric charge? You see, electric charge means it is initially it was found that electrons possesses certain particular property which was named as negative charge, and similarly the protons were found to possess certain property which was having nature opposite to or different from that of negative charge and were named as positive charge. Later on it was found that the positive charge is attracting always negative charge and positive charge is always repelling another positive charge, or negative charge is always repelling another negative charge. Now here you must understand that electrons are having this property which is inherent property of electron. You can't say that the negative charge present in electron can be squeezed out, or positive charge present in proton can be squeezed out from them. They are their inherent property. If you say, for example, if you make 100 pieces of the electron, then the charge present in an electron, each electron is possessing charge equal to minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Now it means that the negative sign indicates the nature of charge and magnitude of charge is same for protons but in case of protons they have positive value, same magnitude of charge, but having positive value means plus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb is the charge possessed by protons. This is the electronic charge, and that charge carried by proton is positive for protons. So you can say that for protons charge present in proton is this much. We can also write it in the form of Q, QE and QP. So this is all about the charge and the discovery of this. The positive charge and negative charge both are the inherent property of proton and electron respectively. When these charges were discovered, it was also found that they are having some attractive force or repulsive force, and then Coulomb found the law to explain this force acting between them, and this law is named after him, Coulomb's law for electrostatics. You see, in this law he stated that any two charge, say for example we have charge QA and another charge QB, we have assumed that both are having a positive charge and they are separated by some distance r, means distance between their centers is r. Then in that case the Coulomb's law states that force of attraction or repulsion acting between any 2 point charges is always directly proportional to the product of those, the magnitude of those two charges, and always inversely proportional to the square of the distance between those two charges. Now this law, Coulomb's law, is valid for point-like charges, but in general we don't have point-like charges in our day-to-day life. So what we do is we generalize it, we apply the combination of forces and find the combined result, the combined attractive force or repulsive force acting between the group of charges placed on a body. And we shall be discussing it extensively in the coming chapters. Now if we write these two together, we have F is proportional to Q1, QA, QB divided by R square. Whenever we replace the sign of proportionality with a constant, we can write force of attraction or repulsion is K into QA, QB divided by R square. Now here you see that there we have introduced a constant. This constant K is known as Coulomb's constant. And it is found to be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now epsilon naught is the permittivity, and in the coming chapters we shall be discussing this permittivity in details. And it is found that the value of Coulomb's constant is 9 into 10 power value of Coulomb's constant, you will see is equal, found to be 9 into 10 power 9 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Now how we come to know about this unit? This constant is having a particular unit, and that unit is, you see that unit is we can derive it from using this relation. You see F is equal to KQA QB by R square, and from that we derive K is equal to F R square whole divided by QA QB. You see we are leaving K on the right hand side and carrying the rest on the left hand side. So F R square cross multiplied divided by QA by QB. And here you see the constant will have the unit. For force we have Newton, and for distance we have meter, so R square, that means meter square, and for charge we have Coulomb square, that means C square Coulomb square. We can also find the dimension of Coulomb's constant by using the dimensions of force. Dimension of force is how much it is mass into acceleration, that is mLt minus 2, into distance square, that is L square, whole divided by Coulomb. And you see 1 ampere current is defined as charge flown per second, and so we have 1 coulomb. Dimension of 1 coulomb is ampere second, because ampere is the SI unit of I and second is the SI unit for time. So we can write for coulomb square, we can write ampere square second square, and for second square we use the symbol T, so we can have T square, and that way we finally sum up, and it becomes the dimension of K is now M L cube T to the power minus 4 and A to the power minus 2. This is the dimension of Coulomb's constant. So and now if we want to find the dimension of epsilon naught, we will just reverse it. So to find the dimension of epsilon naught, what we need is just reverse this arrangement. So dimension of, and similarly dimension of epsilon naught will be equal to m to the power, we will reverse the sign of all the powers. So m to the power minus 1, L to the power minus 3, T to the power 4 and A to the power 2. And this will be the dimension of epsilon naught. So one thing we must also remember, apart from deriving this dimension, we must also remember that force acting on two charge, say we have taken QA and QB, is always acting in such a way that, in this case the repulsive force is always acting in such a way that force acting on one charge is always equal and opposite to the force acting on another charge. That means we can write that FA is equal to minus FB, or FB is equal to minus FA. So this is all for today. We shall be talking next day more about the another topics. Thank you and have a nice day.